Well, hello family. Welcome to my channel. There is a new channel on YouTube that has been created specifically to help football fans and lovers of betting to actually make some few profits out of their betting. From now on, we are going to analyze all games in the major leagues right here. We'll give you the stats, injuries, expect predictions that are guaranteed to make you some winnings every week. Remember, there are no sure bets, but with a little tactical and expert advice, you can make the right choice and then win some money or maximize your profits. So please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so that whenever we release our analysis and predictions, you will get them quickly before match day. Thank you. Now quickly let's go on to this weekend. And this weekend, with all the major leagues across Europe on break, all the action will be in the Premier League on Boxing Day. And even in the Premier League, 3 of the matches have been postponed due to COVID-19. So we will take the remaining matches, and our first match for today is Burnley Everton. A run of no win in 5 games has left Burnley facing Christmas in the bottom 3 for the first time since 2018-2019. That has never happened to the club since 2018. They have never fallen to the bottom 3. Coincidentally, in 2018-2019 Boxing Day games, they met at Turf Moor with this same Everton, who whipped them by 5-1. 1 year later, still on Boxing Day, Sean Dyche's men lost 1-0 to the Toffees. This time around, it was away to at Merseyside. But given that on Boxing Day they lost 5-1, and the fact also remains that Burnley have only won one of their previous 7 Boxing Day fixtures. They are not good on Boxing Day. They've won 1 out of the 7, drawing 1 and then losing 5 of their Boxing Day fixtures. They are fast starters though this season, and they do score early in the first 15 minutes. So hopefully that is their only hope, of maybe scoring early and then sitting back to defend against the Toffees, who actually are not in good scoring form too. They've scored in the first 15 minutes of their last 4 games, and that is something to look out for. However, Everton is also hit with injuries. They've had a dreadful return. They've won just 1 in their 11 Premier League games leading up to Christmas. That is, they've drawn 3 and then lost 7 of those games. However, despite this wretched form, they are still 8 points ahead of Burnley. And unlike Burnley, they have 6 years unbeaten run on Boxing Day. Boxing Day is always good for Everton. So Everton look favourite, but then they find it difficult keeping a clean sheet. They only have 3 clean sheets to their names. And they have conceded 76% of their Premier League goals in the second half, where Burnley is also very weak. Burnley scores early. Everton concedes in the second half. And Everton is also not a strong starter either. They are not a strong starter either. Now, with Calvert-Lewin a doubt for this match, Everton look to struggle. They may struggle to get the goals in this match. So I'm not sticking my head out for a goal-scoring match. However, Everton, with their lack on Boxing Day, Burnley's poor form on Boxing Day, coupled with their poor form in the run-up to Christmas, Everton are favourites, and we look to Everton winning. However, this match is very difficult, and then the stats are that Everton normally play more corners since they pile pressure on the opposition but fail to score. They actually heap pressure on the opposition but just fail to score. So they end up gaining more corners in the match. And so we will advise that this match, you go for over 8.5 corners. The odds stands at 1.45, which is good odds this weekend. So Everton Burnley over 8.5 corners. The next match we'll take is Man City against Everton. Now this looks like one of the easiest matches to predict this weekend because Man City have been near invincible since the October break, the October international break. They won their Champions League group. They won 10 out of the 11 games, with only Crystal Palace being the team to have beaten them after the October break. They have 4 straight Premier League home wins, and this makes them favorite at home. City never loses. They don't even draw, they win. And they score exactly twice more than their opponents. And they've won in each of their previous 3 home league games immediately after Christmas. So once after Christmas City plays, they are likely to score. However, the last outing between these two teams at this venue Etihad saw Leicester thumping Man City at 5-2 on their home soil. However, that was their only second win in 8 outings between them since 2010 at Etihad. Leicester City's players will be revived, sort of, because their game against the Toffees was postponed, and then in midweek's Carabao Cup against Liverpool, most of their players were actually rested, so they have fresh legs going into this game, and that is a positive for them. However, Leicester City has only won away against teams that were promoted this season. Every team that has been in the league since last season has beaten Leicester City at home. Leicester City are unable to win when they go away, unless the team just came from the championship. So they are looking to get their first win over a team that is not burdened by newly promoted status. And to start with Manchester City in this form, that is something difficult to do. Leicester's Boxing Day record since promotion to the PL in 2014 is very poor. Boxing Day, they've played 7 games, they've won 1, drawn 1, and then lost 5. Though these games were played against teams that were always on top of the league, top or second on the league. All these games they've lost. Interestingly though, their sole win on this date, that is the one win they've had, was against Man City on their home turf, Leicester City's home turf. Kevin De Bruyne hit a goal either side of halftime in Man City's last home match, where they won 7-0 against Leeds. 3 of Kevin De Bruyne's last 4 goals have come beyond the hour mark. Meanwhile, on the other side, James Maddison netted Leicester's closing goal in their latest PL win, while also scoring the final equalizer in their most recent away league draw. James Maddison is a player to watch out for. Kevin De Bruyne also is a player to look out for. However, this match has always produced goals over 2.5. So we predict Man City to win this game and more than 2 goals to appear in this game. Man City win over 2.5. Now Norwich versus Arsenal. Let's go to Norwich City, who are playing at home to Arsenal. If Norwich City are to avoid being at the bottom of the Premier League at Christmas, they must end their 5-match winless run in which they have drawn 2 and lost 3, during which they scored once and conceded 7 times. They must end. And then they've been out of action for almost 2 weeks due to COVID-19 related postponement. So Dean Smith's side has historically struggled against this very Arsenal side. Actually, they have no Premier League win against Arsenal since 2012. In 8 games, they have drawn 2, and the Gunners have won 6. No win for the Canaries. But the Canaries, they draw their last 2 games in the league at home. So maybe that is something to look out for. They are hoping to improve upon that performance with a win against Arsenal. Although they have had only one home win all season. They've won one out of their 9 games. They've won one, they've drawn 2, and they've lost 6 at home. And that is something too little for their fans to enjoy. Their last 3 Premier League matches here produced less than 3 goals, under 2.5. And so their games at home has never excited the neutrals. Their home fans have also never been excited. Their away teams have sometimes gotten away with it. However, conversely, Arsenal is resurgent and have been well worth watching recently as they entered this fixture on the back of 3 straight league wins and a thumping 5-1 midweek EFL Cup triumph over Sunderland. And they have not conceded a first half goal in 4 Premier League matches, in which they have won 3 and lost 1, not conceding in first half. Arsenal have also won 2-0 in all 4 matches they've played this term against sides starting this round in the bottom 4. Yes, so if you are in the bottom 4, Arsenal gets to keep a clean sheet. That is something to look out for. The Gunners will lie fourth at Christmas, whatever the results here. They will still remain fourth at Christmas. Though they haven't performed well away this term, Arsenal's away performance hasn't been all that good. They've won 3, drawn 1, and lost 5 of their 9 away games. And 3 of these losses came in their last 4 Premier League road trips. Actually, their last 4 Premier League road trips away games, they've lost 3. However, they are the favorite to prevail at Carrow Road this weekend, and they will look to increase their tally of just 2 away league goals after half-time this term. Todd Cantwell was the last man to score for Norwich against Arsenal, and 3 of his last 6 senior club goals came between the 65th and 80th minute. Something to look out for if Arsenal is to keep a clean sheet. Stop Cantwell from scoring in the last 15 minutes of the game. And against Arsenal, he banks in the goals. So now Gabriel Martinelli has netted 3 times before the 50th minute across Arsenal's 2 PL outings. After Arsenal decided to bench Aubameyang, Gabriel Martinelli is giving them the goals, and then he scores before the 50th minute in 2 of Arsenal's Premier League outings. In Arsenal's games, there's been goals during both halves in 5 of the last 6. There's a goal in the first half, there's a goal in the second half in Arsenal games. So Arsenal seem to be scoring more goals after Arteta decided to bench his top striker Aubameyang. They have scored a whooping 14 in 4 matches, just 1 less half of what they have scored in Premier League this season. Arsenal is expected to win away from home. Arsenal is expected to win this match, and then we would also bet on this match to produce 2.5 goals, over 2.5 goals, that is 3 or more goals. However, the surest bet for this particular match is an Arsenal win, since Arsenal can steal a 1-0 away win, a late goal, and so I wouldn't put much money on over 2.5, and then we'll advise you go for Arsenal. Now, Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. After a COVID-19 induced forfeit away to Rennes sent them tumbling out of the UEFA Europa Conference League, Tottenham Hotspur must rely on domestic cup success or a high PL finish to secure European football again next season. And then they have a home draw in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, so this position is strengthened in that it is likely they'll be tumbling out of the domestic cup, which means they have to make much out of their position on the Premier League to get European football. However, they have 3 outstanding games which haven't been played, 3 games postponed, and that gives them a chance to advance further on the PL table. However, Crystal Palace and then Tottenham each played 2-2, a draw in their previous PL outings. But Spurs is going into this contest with a perfect home record against teams below them. Once you play Tottenham and you are beneath them, they score you. They've won 5 out of 5 games against teams that were below them as at the time they were playing. And once they have 3 postponed matches yet to be scheduled, Tottenham's only option is to make most of their home games, win the home games, because there is no telling how these rescheduled matches are going to pan out. Palace have also snapped a 3-game losing streak with 2 home games in 4 days, winning 1, drawing 1, and need to quickly correct some traveling issues, some away issues, if they are to return to the top half of the table. If Palace wants to make it to the top half, they need to start winning away from home. They drew against Burnley, which was a must-win match, that 3-3 draw, and then losing out to Leeds, who haven't been in good form this season. When the irony of the whole thing is, they are losing in November when they had a victory against Man City in October, and fans were dreaming of producing something special under new boss Patrick Vieira. So when match was expected of Palace, they started dropping. As a further indication of how erratic and inconsistent Palace campaign has been, they have just won 35% of their league games this season. They've won 6, drawn 8, and lost 3 this season. Tottenham always win at home against teams that are beneath them this season, and Palace will be no different. Tottenham are tipped to win at 1.65 odds. Now let's go to West Ham against Southampton. Before last month's international break, West Ham sat third on the table with aspirations of chasing Champions League qualification. However, they have just 1 win in their 6 Premier League matches since the break, and that has cleared them off the Champions League zone. They've drawn 2 matches, lost 3 out of those 5 matches they've played after the break. They will want to get back into the win column here because it's been long since they won. But 1 victory from their last 7 Boxing Day fixtures highlights how David Moyes will have to inspire his men to break a worrying trend. Out of their last 7 Boxing Day fixtures, they've won 1, drawn 3, and lost 3. They will need huge inspirations to break this trend. With this context, the Hammers might view Southampton as a welcome opponent, given that they are unbeaten in their last 8 Premier League meetings against the South Coast side. West Ham has won 6 and drawn 2 out of their last 8 meetings against the South Coast side. The last 3 meetings in that run saw West Ham shut out Ralph Hasenhüttl's men. Yet that's something they've achieved just once in the Premier League since mid-October. The struggling Southampton head to East London, having failed to win any of their last 6 Premier League matches, losing 3 and drawing 3. And that's a particularly poor return when you take into account that they led at halftime in 3 of their last 4 games in that run, taking the lead and then losing out or drawing out eventually. It's hard to see how things improve for them here based on both form and their record in away Premier League matches against West Ham. The Saints have won only 4 of the last 18 head-to-head meetings against West Ham, losing 14. And in the last 4 games that they lost, they conceded exactly 3 times in the process. Mikel Antonio will miss this match due to illness. But all 4 of Pablo Fornal's West Ham Premier League goals have come at home this season. All his 4 goals he scored at home. He's good and prolific at home. And he netted a half-time brace in this fixture last term. And one thing worth mentioning is that David Moyes has a good record against Southampton, whether as manager of Everton or United. David Moyes has played 17 matches against the Saints, and he has lost only 2, winning 7 and drawing 8. That is an impressive form and something that will go for the Hammers. With David Moyes knowing how to beat the Saints in poor form away from home, and then West Ham looking to get back to winning ways, West Ham are favorites to win this game at odds 1.90. Now to our final game of the weekend, where Brighton faces Brentford at home. When Brighton scored Brentford in September, that 1-0 win, they were in the midst of an impressive 5-game start to the league campaign. They were impressive. They had won 4 games and lost just 1. But come to this time around, and then the Seagulls are winless across their last 11 games, drawing 8 and losing 3. And that is the club's longest wait ever for a top flight win. This has fueled fears of them extending a current winless run of 11 Boxing Day fixtures. They've gone 11 Boxing Day fixtures, they've drawn 4, they've lost 7, no win. A winless return across Brighton's current 5-game form, drawing 3 and losing 2, further deepens the gloom at the Amex Stadium. However, a tally of 3 home clean sheets in the Premier League campaign shows that the hosts are likely to make it tough for Brentford, who are still mourning a loss to Chelsea on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Brentford's midweek cup elimination may prove to be a blessing in disguise though, as they push for a top half finish in their first top tier season for 74 years. Before their last 2 PL games were postponed due to COVID-19, the Bees were buzzing with 8 points across their last 5 games, winning 2, drawing 2 and losing 1 following a run of 4 straight losses. So they had recovered from their 4 losses. They were in winning ways, and then their last 2 matches got postponed. We expect late strike to be the order of the day in this match, as the 2 visitors, last 3 Premier League winners, have arrived beyond the 90th minute. The visitors, their last Premier League wins have gone beyond the 90th minute, with that number including 1 against Watford last time out. Yet Brentford will likely need more than that to bookend their 4th game winless run of PL game away, across which they considered an average of 2.5 goals per game. Leandro Trossard has been Brighton's last scorer with his 3 PL strike this season, scoring the last goal in each match, including 1 in the reverse fixture. However, contrast to that, Ivan Toney has scored Brentford's opener with 4 PL strikes, all of which have arrived inside the opening 30 minutes. An early goal is expected, and then a late win is expected from Brighton or Brentford. However, these 2 teams are expected to play each other out. They are supposed to play each other out. This is a difficult game for Brighton. Even though they need the win badly, Brentford wouldn't give it to them on a platter. So we are looking to give the home side a double chance, a win or draw at home. And that is good odds, judging that they are favorites. The odds still stand at 1.30, which is good odds for such a game, such a risk-free bet. So that does it for this Boxing Day fixtures. It won't be all. We will bring you discussion and predictions on the next round of matches, which will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then subsequent matches across Europe. When the other major leagues resume, we'll bring you odds from those games also as well. Do subscribe and hit the notification button so that when it is dropped, you'll receive it instantly. Add your comments on our predictions and help others win by sharing this video. We hope to see your winnings, get your testimonies as a result of watching these videos. And then finally, thanks for watching.